Yo, um, I have not streamed in a very long time, but it says I'm live. It says I have excellent connection. This is my first time officially streaming on this game dev channel, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see where this goes. It says in public, type zero concurrence. All right. Um, I was trying to go live earlier, but I spent a lot of time setting up my OBS system. I'm in a new office. I haven't had an office in what, 3 years? 3 years last time I had an office. So still trying to get the lay of the land, set on my OBS. All my buttons are configured. Played around with that for a while. Uh, so I'm streaming a little later than I wanted to, but we're here now. I like the dark. Please don't comment on how dark it is. These are coding hours, all right? Little late night stream. I don't see any chat. It's always a little disorienting. Okay, chat rate is 1, so there's chat somewhere. Hold up. Let me see. Hold up. I'm gonna refresh this real quick. And okay, I can see some chats. Here we go. Okay, give me a bunch of pop-ups. Sorry. This is do not expect much from this stream. I'm getting back into the lay of the land. Moderation helps. Okay. Hello. Don't set fire to it. Yo, Ash, too soon. Too soon. Yo, too soon. Hello to Mark Boss. What's up to Ribosome Rocker? Hello, what's up, everyone? How's it going? Hello to The Run. What time is it for you? It is midnight 46 at this very moment. It says my bit rate is lower than the recommended. Damn, they saying I should up my bit rate. Okay. Maybe next time. What the hell? I'll click this. I'll look into that in the next one. I think you'll be fine for now. So what's up? What's up, everyone? How you doing? Which game jam are you participating? So I'm not participating in any specific game jam. I'm doing my own little game jam. I was challenged to make a game in 48 hours. I'm sorry, 72 hours, and I accepted that challenge. And so I'm going to make a game in that time, and I'm going to start now. I do not expect you. I'm not going to stay up for 72 hours. I'm too old for that. All right. I've done my dues when I was younger. Sleep is very important to me in this older age of life. I'm 31 years old now. I can't be doing what I was doing in my 20s. But today I want to take the time to lay the foundation for the game that I want to make. I've been thinking about the idea over the past few days. And yeah, we'll see how much we can get done. If we have to go over 72 hours, hey, who cares? All right. The whole point is to make a game that's fun and ship it. All right. So about how long will the stream be? Today's stream won't be for that long, probably an hour or two at the most. Um, I really want to just jump on here and first of all get back into the swing of streaming. I haven't streamed in like a year or two. It's been a minute. But this is feeling pretty good. I also want to test out what the numbers would be like on this channel. This is the Jabril's Dev channel. If it's not apparent to you, this is not my main channel. So I want to test out those two things. But we have a few people in here. Not nothing terribly great. That's fine. We don't need thousands of people in the stream. That's fine. But yeah, we're gonna walk through a bit of kind of like what I'm thinking for this game idea. Feel free to post in the chat. We can have some conversation. And actually, I'm gonna post a quick promo on Twitter because I did let people know that I was gonna stream, but it's pretty late, so I don't expect too many people to be in this stream. And I am live. A little late night game dev. All right. right, good deal. Real game dev hours in here. What's up to Finny? What's up? See, Finneguini knows what's up. It's real game dev hours in here. What's good? All right. I posted that tweet. Did I post the link? I did. All right. Tight. Um, you got me. You do got me. You got me for real, for real. Okay, I would like to get into streaming more often, especially have this new office set up. This new office is pretty sweet. It's a lot of space. I got to figure out how to fill it. Um, Gonna be making a lot of content. I got a little lazy. Well, listen, I say I get lazy, but every time I talk to people, they're always like, what were you doing then over the last year or whatever?" And I was like, "I was making a manga and a video game." And like, that's not lazy. It's just different priorities, and I think that is correct. My priorities have been away from YouTube for the past like year or so, but it's now swinging back into being YouTube. I got a lot of really good content that I've been drafting up, scripting and all that stuff. But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to do a little game dev. Shouts to the two concurrents, the two live concurrents. Regardless if you're here or not, I'm gonna be doing this live. So let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, I need an idea. Today, I basically will just be going through an idea that I want to do for this game. And what I've been thinking, so there's a lot of things happening in my life at this moment. There's a lot of things happening. And one of the biggest things happening is that like I'm becoming a bit more mature and I am discovering like more ways to be more productive and to be more not successful, but it's like to be more forward thinking, if you will, I guess. And so I want to make a game that is it's going to be a mobile game, all right? It's going to be like a pretty simple design for a mobile game, but it's going to be fun. And I want to figure out a way to make a game that is like polished but fun and doable in 72 hours. Many reasons for this. I think one of the biggest reasons is because of the skill that I will be working towards if we achieve this. Uh, because like when I think about historically all the game jams that I've done, it's kind of like, oh, I want to make a game just to make a game, you know. What game can I realistically finish in 72 hours, right? Which is fine, it's fine. But like I'm an older person now, like I won't really learn too much from doing a game jam. And so now I really want to have the objective of like, what is it that I can learn from this game jam? And I think that what I can learn and what is appropriate to learn, I sound like mumbo jumbo. What I'm trying to say is that because I am taking the time at this moment to do a game jam, I need to make it focus on an objective. And the objective that I want to focus on is like, how do I make a good mobile game? And that is what I'm going to learn from this process. Obviously, like I may not make a good mobile game or I may make a good mobile game. Either way, there's going to be learning happening in that process. Ash, there was actually a game called Tooth Defender or something, which was very much like original Mario Bros. Jumpy thing. Okay, let's check this out. So Ash is sending us on a little research, which is good. This is why I love streaming, because like hundreds of brains are better than one. Meet the Tooth Defenders. Okay, this is like an animated thing. Let's see. Tooth Defender game. Yo, do you have a link for that, Ash? On C64? Commodore 64? Oh my god. If that's what you mean, holy shit, dude. Commodore. I don't know how you spell that. There we go. Commodore 64. Oh my god. listen. It's all love. All right? It's all love. But like when you're reaching this far back into the game dev archives. Like this technically doesn't even count as a game anymore. Okay. I gotta figure out the audio situation. I think I need headphones or something. Oh, you can hear this. Oh, you can definitely hear this right now. Okay. I'm gonna disable the desktop audio for now. We'll figure that out later. Cheeky comment. Oh, we can watch this. Let's. I hope this is okay. I don't really know the rules. Can I watch YouTube live when I'm live streaming? I don't know the rules. But this is I think this is what you were referencing. Oh my god. Why are you doing this to me? What is the game jam theme? There is no game jam theme. The only theme for this game jam is to learn something. That's it. We just want to learn something. Uh Wait, you said this is like Mario? Ash, you said this is like the original Mario jumpy thing? I'm afraid to get audio involved. Yeah, I'll worry about that later. But I'm for test sake. I'm gonna unmute this.
However,
I think you can
the
hear this.
sprites
I
and the
can't hear
basic
it.
colours are pretty much
I'll play this back
everything this
later.
game needs.
It seems like that'd be pretty loud. But I guess I can play it straight from my computer.
The screen scrolls well and in all directions of movement. The entrance are key
Nice. What are you looking to learn about? Tech, game. So, okay, so I think this is way far off from what I want to make. So what are the goals? The biggest thing I'm looking to learn is like more about mobile game development. It's something that I have been ignoring for a really long time, and I've been playing some pretty fun mobile games recently, and I don't see why I don't know more about mobile games. So the objective is to make a fun mobile game, a simple fun mobile game. Like we only have 72 hours, which is a good constraint, which means that we have to work within those constraints to make something fun. And at the end, I'll either fail or I'll succeed, but either way, I'll have learned something. So that's the only objective. I'm not doing a Let 'em Dare or global game jam. It's just like let's learn something game jam, pure and simple. Um. Okay. Wait. Hold on. How how long is the latency? It's showing me the latency is really far behind. Oh, it's just because my stream is not live. Okay, never mind, never mind. I clicked the live button. Wait, I should force everyone to do live. I should force everyone. What is that setting called again? I think it's too late. I think I only do it before the stream. Live chat, live reaction, slow mode. Yeah, I think I can only do it before the stream. It's like disabled DVR or something like that. Ay, whatever. We live and we learn. Why is that by default? They should automatically have that off by default. Hello to C Disco. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. Okay, I can't turn that off, so hopefully people know to click the live button. One thing that used to be a big problem when I used to stream on YouTube on my main channel is people were unaware that you could end up being like 30 seconds, 2 minutes behind the actual live, and there's a little button that you press to be live. I just fell for it right now, so but I can't disable it at the moment. Anyways. So there's an idea that I've been thinking about doing, and it's called Two Teeth Defenders. And the idea is pretty simple. I think it's important anytime that you make a game, like you have to have some level of uh, desire to make the game, because it'd be really simple for me to like just clone Marvel Snap, right? Like that's a popular mobile game out right now. But the question is like, would I personally want to play Marvel Snap? Like, I think it's a fun game. I'm about to, I'm gonna get canceled. I think Marvel Snap is a fun game, but it's too simple for me, and I want a bit more depth in Marvel Snap. So I personally wouldn't remake Marvel Snap like if I'm doing a game jam. And so this idea, it's called Two Teeth Defenders, and it's a bit of a mix of. If you're familiar with a game called Tourette Fusion, I'll pull it up, seeing that I have the internet in my hands here. Tourette Fusion. It's an idle clicker. Incredibly fun game. I love this game. This might be one of my favorite games, to be real with you. Yeah, essentially you like I don't remember. It's been a couple years since I played, but you like buy units. Like you'll buy like a level one unit, a level one unit, a bunch of level one units, and then they will kill to get you coins. And then um I think immediately you can like merge or fuse two level one units to make a level two unit, and then you make another level one unit. When you get enough money, you get to make another level one unit, and then you fuse those, and you get another level two. Then you fuse two level twos and make a level three. I don't know why. I love the game loop for this game, and so I want to kind of like copy this a bit, but mix like turret diffusion with like RTS, like very light RTS. I learned my lesson. I don't want to go too crazy with the adding features, but the main base of the game is going to be RTS. Oh, you can't even see the screen. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. This is turret fusion. I got to get used to that. Again, so you just fuse like a level one gun with level one gun. You get a level two gun, and then you can buy two more level one guns, and you fuse those. Now you have two level two guns. If you use two level two guns, you get a level three gun, and you like that. That's the progression. Um, that's the progression of the game. And so I want the core of our game of two Thief Defenders to be RTS. So you're sending units to like various parts of the map. Small map. Don't think nothing super big. Super small map. In fact, the idea was like I want to do 12 teeth. So you're defending 12 teeth. So that's the theme. There are two OP defenders, champions, heroes, whatever you want to call them, which are like the last of the fusion. Um, and you essentially just send the units to a tooth. The teeth will get attacked by not cavities. Cavities are the result of acid of sugar, whatever. Sugar monsters will attack the teeth, and then you want to defend by sending them out. I think it's a pretty simple idea. It sounds like something we can do in 72 hours. It doesn't sound too complex. Uh, Once we get the RTS system in, I think the leveling up will be pretty straightforward. There probably is going to be some complexity in trying to figure that system out, but as far as I can think of it at this moment, it doesn't seem that difficult. I think Second Dinner got as much depth out of simple mechanics as they could with Snap. Listen, I'm not trying to shame. I think Marvel Snap is a fantastic design game. In fact, I watched the talk on it, and they took, I think it was 5 to 7 years just to create Marvel Snap. It was like holy shit, dude, holy shit. Like there's a famous quote. I don't remember who it was attributed to, but it's something along the lines of like, "I would have written a shorter letter if I had more time," right? And like Marvel Snap, it like embodies that quote 100%. Um, Fantastic design game. I think it's fantastic. I think I've clocked maybe 3 4 hours on or something like that. But I just personally like don't have a lot of time as it is. And if I am to play something, I want like something with a lot of complexity. I want to have to think. When I'm sitting on the toilet, I want to be like strategizing, like what can I do differently? What did I do wrong? Blah blah blah. But Marvel Snap's a great game. That's my overall point. This that looks rad. These scaling games are awesome. Reminds me of Cookie Clicker or Egg Inc. Yeah, I mean technically, Fusion Turret Fusion is a idle game, just like Cookie Clicker and Egg Inc. Technically speaking, because you just sit back and it does all that for you. But we're gonna try and add just like slightly more complexity, just slightly. All right, we're not gonna do nothing crazy. All right. Tight. I also watched that talk. B. Brody is great. Yeah, I agree. He's a fantastic speaker. He has great energy, great comedic timing. Fantastic speaker. I love this talk. Okay. So I'm gonna read these notes. I probably should do this before, but this is what I wrote down a couple days ago. Turret fusion, unit blending. Okay, enemies attack 1 out of 12 teeth. You have to distribute your forces to defend against them. Okay, this is pretty important. All right, this note right here is pretty important. I'm gonna make this yellow. We'll come back to this into a sec. Come back to this in a second as to why it's important. Um, they destroy enamel. You have to protect them. Use feelings to slow down enemies. I'm not sure. This is like getting into feature creep a little bit. I'm gonna mark this as red. Um, Again, what we want to do with this game jam is just like create the bare basics that is fun, finished, polished, and shippable, right? If we start to think about like, oh, there's a feelings feature that slows down enemies and blah blah blah, we might go over time. Um, I wish I came a bit more prepared. There was a couple of games last year that really inspired me, like this whole design approach. Um, I think one I can't pronounce it. It's let me see. Hold on. Steam Tile Town game. Uh, Dorfromantic is one, and then there's another one that it's like a um survival indie 2D island game. Excuse me. I don't think I'm gonna find this one. There's so many. There's so many. Uh quick glance. Nope, can't find it. Okay, but anyways, the point I'm getting at is that Dorfromantic in this other game, they were made by like incredibly small teams during a game jam. I think even one of the Ludum Dares, and they were able to ship a small game, an incredibly small game, by the end of the game jam that was polished, it was finished, you could play it, and you get the idea of where the game is going. And then following the game jam, they then took what they had made from the game jam and then polished it even more and like turned to an actual. I'm looking at myself. I should look at the camera. um, they then took that idea, that concept that was polished and finished, and it was presentable enough for people to play it and get an idea what they were going for without like bugs stopping them from playing or breaking the game. And they then polished it and then brought it to Steam. And I just thought that like that is so genius and it's so like revolutionary in terms of like what modern day game dev looks like. And so that's kind of like the whole design principle that I've been wanting to try for a very long time now. And I think that this idea, Two Teeth Defenders, is an attempt at that, right? We might fail, but there's a lot that can be learned in in this process. Yeah, I think Celeste is also another one of those as well. Someone needs to like coin what this is called. Like it's a relatively new thing. They need to coin this approach though. Why does my live keep like falling behind in the little preview? I have like a little studio thing up, and like anytime I look at it, I have to click live every like few seconds because it keeps falling behind. I don't know why. It's weird. Anyways, I can see from the chat you guys are caught up, so that's all that really matters. In fact, I don't even need to see this view. I'll just pause this. I don't need to see that. Okay. Let's see what some of the chat says. I love that, a bit like Risk. You gotta split your units wisely to defend the right spots. Exactly. Wait, hold on. You're getting ahead of me. You're getting ahead of me. Hold on. Let me finish these notes real quick. So, tongue is the central base for healing the units. Okay. Nice. There's a bit of like a little Warcraft going on there. And then Two Teeth Defenders. And these are like the OP defenders that you're looking to rank up to so that they're like OP, right? But then even yet, so now we're getting back to what Rafa was kind of touching on, right? Which is like um it's a bit like Risk, like you split your units up to defend wisely. And this is why this is so important, right? Is because like we want to center the design of this game around this concept of like distributing your forces to defend against them, right? this should be the most important thing in terms of like how everything is designed. Everything should be designed around this concept, right? Because like when it comes to game design, and this I've been doing like design classes over the last few years, so like I'm super amped up about like anything design. Um, but when it comes to game design, one of the biggest problems I find a lot of developers run into is the lack of consideration for design, right? Uh, you have like an idea that is, it might be pretty strong, like a pretty strong idea to build a game around, but then you start to add noise, right? Like you have this idea, but then you also have idea B, then idea C, and idea D, right? And they might not all mesh together, right? They don't orbit around one center mass. You know, they kind of all like have their own mass, and they are trying to take one to their own orbit, and it becomes like a mess, you know. And so the whole point I'm trying to make is that like what's important is that this is our North Star, is that we have this hypothesis at this moment that distributing your forces to defend against sugar monsters or whatever they are is fun, and we need to prove this to be fun by the features that we add. How's that sound, huh? How's that sound, huh? Am I on to something or what? Okay. All right. Rafa, I think it's just you and I at this moment. I actually did this with my team. We started off as a game jam, and now we're launching it this theme. Really cool approach. Yo, Rafa, drop your game name right now. Drop it. I want to check it out. And also when this playback goes live, you get a nice little promo, huh? It's just you and I. You and I. But in the meantime, while I wait for you to do that, oh, Taka Taka. Okay. I'm gonna put your game up on stream real quick. Taka Taka. Wait, that's a music video. Soccer? Oh no, it's Tiki Taka. I cannot find your game via a Google search. If you can link it, that'd be great. Okay. So yeah, that's where we're at with design. I'm sorry, that's where we're at with this project so far. Today, I want to just lay the foundations of what to do for before we start getting coding. I want to get as much design stuff out as possible right now. And where do I begin? Where do I begin? I think the most important part. So we have some pillars, right? We have like major design pillars. Well, actually, before we do that, what is the center of mass? And when I say center of mass, I just mean like, what are we designing this game around? Well, I guess so. Bear with me. This is scratch paper this moment. We can format it and get it all looking pretty, but just bear with me, okay? So the hypothesis is that distributing your forces to defend 12 teeth, and that might be too many teeth. I'll just say X. Say N teeth. Distributing your forces to defend N teeth. I guess like caveat is like, we'll just stop there. Is fun. This is the hypothesis. It's that distributing your forces to defend N teeth is fun. That's how and so the center of mass of this is going to be the RTS features. That's the center of mass, right? And then we have the orbiters around the center of mass is going to be blending, like unit blending. I guess maybe idler features. Maybe I'm not sure at this moment. We can discuss it. Orbiters. Um, what am I overseeing here? What am I overseeing? Totally agreed. Start with what units, decisions, etc. Just make a list. Enemy 1 and 2 turn. Minimum amounts complete the game loop. Exactly, Rafa. You are a genius. You are a genius. I like you. I like you a lot. All right. Um, I'm curious if we can get away with just these two orbiters. I'm very curious. What the question is, you're using. So the question is, you use RTS features to interact with the game, right? I personally believe that RTSs are fun. I think it's a fun genre of game. You don't have to agree. Obviously, not every game is made for everyone, but I find it to be quite fun. One of my favorite games is like Warcraft and StarCraft, and I love XCOM and etc. etc. So I think that's a good core center of mass. But the question is like, with that center of mass, if we added unit blending, would that make for a fun game? Like without thinking of any other features. Just RTS, you go here. Good job. You come home with the loot. You come home with the loot. We got enough loot to buy another unit. 2 level 1 units. We blend them. Now we have a level 2 unit, which can go out and return more loot. What do you think about this? Rafa, what do you think about this? Maybe an elevator pitch first, a sentence. RTS tower blending defense with heavy micro and limited resources, for example. Um, I'm not the best at elevator pitches. I don't think, personally, personal opinion, I don't think elevator pitches are that useful. Because if you explain some of my favorite games in form of an elevator pitch, it probably wouldn't entice me. Um, but let's try it. Let's try it. I'm not gonna be a Debbie Downer. Let's try it out. Here's the elevator pitch for the game. I'm not sure how important the theme is, but you are in control of a teeth cleaning army, and you deploy. No. Okay, hold on. Let me write this out. I think I'm onto something. And you grade me, Rafa. Be real, all right? If it sucks, let me know it sucks, all right? You can only help me if you're real, you know. Okay, so you control Vader pitch. Okay, so you control. Oh, you can't see this. You control. Can I make the font bigger? Small text. I can do small text, but I can't do big text. Big. That's bigger. We'll go with this. All right, so you control a teeth cleaning army, and it is your duty to in, uh I want to say intelligently. This is just what comes to mind. Intelligently, I can't spell. Intelligently deploy them to to defend in teeth. Okay, what do you think? Control plus, is that really? Oh shit. You're right. What do you think about my pitch, my elevator pitch, Rafa? All right. You control a teeth cleaning army, and it is your duty to intelligently deploy them to defend in teeth. Sounds good so far? That means I'm not done. What am I missing? What if I okay, it's maybe more than a sentence, but what if I add um bacteria is constantly attacking your teeth, comma, and you you control a teeth cleaning army. Does that make it better or let's see, maybe the unit blending and idle clicker mechanics you were talking about? Okay, but you see what I mean. But then we get out of a sentence. You know what I mean? Now we're heading towards a paragraph. If I start to explain all that stuff. Maybe I'm being a little too literal. Maybe you just want like a short blurb of what the hell the game's about. Bacteria is constantly attacking your teeth. We don't need and. You control a teeth cleaning army, and it is your duty to intelligently deploy them. That's a bad word. To We got another one. What's up, Red Mouse? Welcome. Welcome to our little family. Maybe mention something about upgrading or optimizing over time. Okay. Bacteria is constantly attacking your teeth, and you control a teeth cleaning yarn. It is your duty to intelligently deploy them to defend in teeth. Okay. Um. Uh. The bacteria gets more aggressive over time, so it is. Um. So. Fuck. So you. Shit. I'm gonna hold off on this. Hold on. Um, you have the hmm. So then the reason why I'm stuck at this moment is because I'm running to the issue of not being sure why you need upgrade. We have to answer why do you need upgrade? The RTS aspect of the game is answered, right? You're interfacing with the RTS features to intelligently deploy your army to defend the teeth, okay? But why do you have to upgrade them? And to answer it simply, you have to upgrade them because the bacteria gets stronger over time. But that seems kind of weak. Think of what decision you want the player to make. What decisions? Risk and reward plays there. What do you mean, Rafa? Help me out. Phone a friend, help me. Listen, feel free to take ownership. This is part your game as it is mine. So if you know the the autocomplete for this elevator pitch. But I like this. This is actually a really good exercise. Okay, so maybe you blend units, which makes them stronger, but that makes you have less units. Oh, I mean, listen. Yeah, I mean, listen, that is going to happen regardless, right? In order to blend one and one, you have to get rid of one. You need a minimum number of units to do something. Hmm. Hmm. I. Hmm. 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 Bacteria is constantly attacking your teeth. You control a teeth cleaning army, and it is your duty to intelligently deploy them to defend in teeth. Okay, so hear me out, right? Again, once again, if we stop at this elevator pitch here, we have a game. Maybe not a fun game, but we have a game, which is good, which is really, really good. The next component is what we add to it to make it fun, and then we have to kind of just stop there. Otherwise, we're not doing a game jam. We're trying to focus on a Steam release or something. So think of scenarios you could create with decision A or B. You can blend a unit, but blank. You can move units, but blank. I see. So you're like putting everything on a spectrum, like a yin and yang type situation. Right. You could blend your units, but you'd have less. Which, listen, yes, that's brilliant. I mean, man, design is so fun, but it's very much it redlines your brain sometimes. So here's the thing, right? To speak to the element of like you blend units, but you have less of them, for instance, that's something that is just like it's just automatic, right? Like there's nothing that we have to do to enable that. It's just automatic. Um, which means that like just right off rip, it is going to be something that the player is going to have to consider and think about as they play the game. Um, which I like. I like that a lot. And in fact, I need to write that down to just keep that in mind. Upgrade, because yeah, because like without thinking about that, like the immediate thing is that like oh you want to upgrade, like why do you want to upgrade? You want to upgrade so that you can have stronger units, right? And if you solely focus on that aspect of why a user would want to upgrade is to have stronger units, then you could completely disregard like the amount of fun that you can make from the negative space, right? Which the negative space is if you don't upgrade, you have more units. And hmm, hmm, hmm. How are you balancing idle and RTS? We haven't got there yet. You're getting ahead of us, Red Mouse. Relax, okay. Relax. Um, no, but I love that point. I love that point about like focusing on the negative space. So upgrade units, right? How do I want to be able to visualize this. So with every single pillar, what is the pro and what is the con? It's important for us to think about this stuff because we can design the game around both. So the pro is you'll get stronger units. Units, which to get stronger units means that they can kill enemies faster. See, and now I'm getting now that we're thinking about this, right? I initially it was like, okay, well, if you get stronger units, then if you the player get stronger units, that means that the enemies also need to get stronger, right? It makes sense. But as we're looking at this, like using the negative space of the con of being, if you upgrade your units, you have less units. We can now use this in our design. We can have one bacteria enemy for the entire game, just one, right? And the difficulty doesn't become the bacteria gets stronger, just the quantity of them increases. And you see how this is now using like the negative space of a feature that we'll be adding is that you might get a wave of like, hey, 30 bacteria are attacking your teeth, but you just upgraded your entire army. Now you only have 4 to distribute, right? How you gonna handle this? You know? Yeah, 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 hell yeah, science. Okay, let me get caught up on the chat. Wait, before I do that, let me finish this thought real quick. So the con is that you have less units, right? And this is beautiful. This is beautiful, 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 beautiful. And real quick, before I get the like this, oh man, I can't tell you like how exciting it is to get older in age because like you do something for a long time and you just like if if you're doing your due diligence you learn how to optimize that process over time, right? Like when I first made my game, like forget design, like what even is design? I just want to get to coding. Like let me just do the code, right? Graphics, art, sound, whatever, I'll worry about that later, right? But like as a smarter older person now I understand the value and like just sitting down and thinking about like what are you doing, first of all, not what are you doing, why are you doing it, you know? And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to put something fun into someone's hands. We want to make them feel something, you know? Anyways, that's a tangent. That's a random tangent. Let me get to the chat. Um, uh, so now you're going into archetype territories as well. Not sure what I was talking about. Defend your teeth from relentless bacteria and an idle gameplay experience. As you optimize your dental arsenal, I like that, your dental arsenal, in blank, use your teeth cleaning army to protect your oral kingdom and stay shining. I like that. That's a very polished um, explainer to put on the back of a game box, you know? You could have players who like a more units playstyle like micro. Exactly. Exactly. But that does create another problem. Like there needs to be something that differentiates the two, right? Because if you want them to kind of be balanced in terms of the meta is concerned, because if it makes more sense for you to never upgrade, then like we kind of like failed in adding the feature, you know? Um, or or strategic players who like high level units but have less units. Oh my god, Vampire Survivors. I'm not sure what I was talking about. So having less units means it'll be harder to split them between teeth. Exactly. With that thought process, maybe you could use the point drafting system for unit cost on a round by round basis. Like a toothbrush is worth 5 points and floss is worth 3 points, and you would have a chance to change them over time. I do like the idea of giving more agency to the player. I think that could help get rid of the issue that we might run into about like one meta being better than the other. I again, let me just say I really like the idea of like where we kind of landed in terms of the simplicity of there literally being like two strategies, which is like on one end of the spectrum, and both strategies are they're on one spectrum, right? On one end of the spectrum, there is have strong units. You know, you can just like get the strongest units that possible that you want, right? On the other end of the spectrum, you have uh just have a lot of units, right? If you have two bacteria, let's say you have five bacteria that's attacking a tooth. I keep looking at myself. Let me look at the fucking camera. If you have five bacteria that is attacking a tooth on a round, right, on a wave, and you have 15 to combat those five, then what does that equal? Does it equal one level three? You know, this is a game balance that we'll have to figure out at some point. But I was gonna say I also love the idea that like a max level like becomes exponential, right? The two teeth defenders, the two heroes, the two champions are like exponentially better than the previous tier, right? So it's like a high risk, high reward, but it's like the amount of resources that they'll take to make should be quite high, right? So it's like you I think we're starting to get to the point where like we kind of won't really know until we start coding. Because no matter how many hours you spend in designing a game, like you will always need to put in the hands of a player to really be able to get the final. But don't think we're quite there yet. I think there's a little more that we can put down on paper. Um, we'll come back to the elevator pitch. I want to see issues. Forecasted issues. Listen, I'm the worst speller you will ever meet. I'm just letting you know now. Forecasted issues is we don't want one meta to be more OP than another. That's a pretty big deal. Um, there was another issue that I forgot already. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, I'm gonna read chat. Then I want to recap of where we're at. This is going really well, by the way. If you can't tell, this is going fantastic. Um, okay, so having less units means splitting them. Harder split them between teeth. Exactly. Exactly. One thing I want to note about that as well is that I think that the two teeth defenders, like the ultimate fusion, which will limit to only be two, should be like pretty goddamn OP, right? Like if you get there, like you earned it, right? Maybe we'll like graph it out or something like how many realistically can one unit take on at a time? You know, like a level 1 unit can take one bacteria, a level 2 unit can take 10. You know, we'll have to graph this out, maybe potentially, but they should be like pretty. It should be pretty nice reward for getting there. Um, depending on, well, no, we will make the resources. We'll do the best we can to make it make sense. Anyways, well, I went on a side tangent. Um, I think you can design this on a spreadsheet at this point. Yeah, you might be right. And you have any specific unit interactions, you can use an interaction matrix. I think you're right. I'm not quite ready for that yet. I'm probably gonna honestly do code before I do any spreadsheets and stuff. Just so we can like get an idea of the feel because I don't want to get too entrenched with this idea without actually like feeling how it actually plays because we might be completely wrong in our hypothesis. Um, I guess as for the horizontal versus vertical strategy, you would have to decide the game ending condition. True. Like, do you lose when one tooth is broken or when all teeth are broken? True. Very good point. Let's think about that now, huh? Win and lose condition. Cool. Game ending conditions. Win, lose. Uh, okay. I'm not excited to do this part, but let's do it. Let's just do it. I think we'll all agree that a game that never ends is pretty boring. I think we all can agree with that, right? I can't think of many games that like go on forever and they're fun. I just can't think of many. Um, Even if you examine like Minecraft, right? Like Minecraft gives you a goal to work towards. Um, there is progression. Even like simply just examining like a wood axe versus a diamond axe, right? Like that is progression, right? Um, so with that, we need a win state, we need a lose state. And what is it going to be? I think lose is pretty easy to define, right? Like, let's just say we do 6 teeth, right? If you do 6 teeth, and it's like if all 6 teeth are lost, game is over. But if we are to implement this lose state, a tooth must represent something in the game, right? Like, because if not, maybe. Where I'm going with this is that like if you lose a tooth and this game state stays the same, then the game potentially might just become easier, right? Because you have less teeth that you have to manage. But then the question is like maybe not. Maybe it might balance because if there's less teeth to manage, that means that there's less teeth for the enemies also to distribute to. So it might just be like a null issue, but I do want to write it down. Question, forecast. I don't know. Think about this. If you have, say, 2 teeth left, it might become easier because you have less teeth to manage. However, consider the distribution of enemies is, let's just say, like 5 per tooth. No, let's just say the addition of enemies is is uh is 30 divided by n teeth. This would mean that the enemy difficulty would also scale at the same time. This ultimately would need to be tested. Can I spell? Okay. Oops. Okay, so that's one potential lose condition. Can I think of any more off the top of my head before I read chat? I guess technically, like if you lose any tooth, that's another option. If you, of course, if you lose all your units, if you lose all of your units, maybe. I mean, it's a potential. I guess on the flip side, we can do something like a win condition is like if you are able to secure all teeth, all 6 teeth, which I kind of like. I kind of like that because like if you secure a tooth, right, the difficulty still will be increasing in the sense that the distribution of the enemies will now focus on the other teeth. But if we do this, then like that means that you can both lose teeth and secure teeth. So then like the end game is like you just do a count. Like you have more teeth than you lost. Or I mean, then this becomes like one of those issues where it's like if then that's the case, then like once you secure 3 teeth or more, then like you automatically win. Okay. I spitballed. Let me read the comments, see what you guys are talking about. Only example I think of multiplayer games, but at this point, players themselves form part of the content. Yeah. Yeah, I think multiplayer is cheating a bit. You can make your own fun with friends. Win state, final fusion, you discover mouthwash. Hmm. I'm gonna write this down. I don't necessarily like it. Good night, Rafa. Good night to you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I'm gonna write this down. I don't necessarily like it, but like if you fuse the 2 defenders, the 2 teeth defenders, where they are, then you win. Which I don't necessarily like this because it kind of like forces you to do the fusion meta, but it is an option. Let me see what else here. But a human has 32 teeth. Yes, a human does have 32 teeth, but this is a video game, my friend, and we are trying to make a video game that is shippable in 72 hours. So, you know, there's little room to be a little imaginative there. Random idea. What if you kind of intentionally underpowered defensive units but allowed the user to move them around in real time, like brushing? Wait, I don't understand that. I'll come back to that in 1 second. I'm gonna head out for the night. This is turning out awesome. Can't wait to see how it pans out. Good night, Rafa. Hope you have a great sleep. Okay, what if you kind of intentionally underpowered defensive units, but allow the user to move them around in real time, like brushing? I don't quite understand what you mean by this. Intentionally underpowered defensive units, but allow them to move around. I don't understand the suggestion. Forgive me. Okay. Rafa, you liar. You're still here. Think he means like brush with your finger. They do low auto damage, but if you move them manually, they do more. You know what? I think to your point, or the point you guys are discussing right now, or what you guys are discussing right now, I think this is a good time to pause and think about like what is the interface going to be like? Because you're talking about moving manually, right? And like in order for me to be able to like accurately answer that question, if this is even a possible feature, I need to figure out like what is the interface? How is the user interfacing with their army? And I think it's in our best interest to be as simple as possible for mobile. Um, I think as my understanding, we've all watched the Marvel Snap talk here, and they attribute a lot of their success to like dumbing down for mobile. So, why is this colored? Default background. So, interface. And also, I watched a video about Fruit Ninja too, and they were talking about like simplicity on mobile. This seems to be a common pattern for like having mobile success. Is you gotta make it simple for that audience. That's just what they like. They like simple, you know. So the challenge is like to derive complexity through simplicity. I don't know if complexity is the right word. I like to use that word, but like more fun. Derive fun from simplicity. Like imagine basic turret in Plants vs Zombies. You can move it between the rows as you see the enemies stacking up on that specific area. Okay, go on, go on. You got me so far. Tell me where's the weak element come from? Are you saying because like that's the only unit that can do it, therefore they're weak as a trade-off? Is that what you're saying? Okay, so in terms of the interface, right? If I hold my phone in my hand and I'm playing this game on my phone, I think that obviously this game has to be vertical. Ill, disgusting. Listen, listen. Yuck, patooey. I understand, but that's just listen. This is what the audience expects, okay? You got to meet expectations. Okay, so it's vertical. I imagine there's like a tongue as the center hub and then maybe 12 or 6 teeth. Let's just say 6. We're going to say 6 for now. 6 teeth. So that's one view. And I guess you can click independently on a tooth to see what's happening there. So there's like a world map view, and then there's you can click on a location view. And if you're in the world map view, you can see like little pins, like traveling to whatever destination, which is another variable to think about, travel time. Variables to think about, travel time as units move from one. Well, I need to officially call them. I'm gonna call them officially location, okay, to another. So like one tooth is a location. The tongue hub is a location. Literally, there's just the tongue hub. Then there's NT. That's it. That's the only. We're keeping this simple. Remember, simple, simple. Remember, remember, remember. Consider the UI elements and how they will take up space in a vertical layout. I'm trying, C Disco. I'm trying. I'm trying. I like the idea of a world map. Like when I think about like a Super Mario World overworld or like any Mario overworld, to be real with you, it makes me feel good. You know, like a Final Fantasy overworld, it makes me feel good. You know, and I would like to implement an overworld for this as well to just get a bird's eye view of everything, right? But another thing to think about, I'm not gonna say variables here. I'm just gonna say things to think about. Travel time variable for units. God damn, I can't spell. Valuable variable for units. Okay, another thing to think about is is like displaying information of who is at what location. And honestly, I don't think this would be too difficult. Like if so long as we define our domain of all of the potential units, then we can just have like a little like bubble, right? And it just has like every single unit icon and then just a number next to it. So you can have just a quick glance review of like what's going on every single location. If oh, you can't see this. I'm sorry. Hello, the frog. Welcome to the stream, the frog. If we have, if we map out our entire unit domain, I'm starting to define terminology here. So unit and enemy. I'm gonna call it baddie. I like baddie. It's just like it's just so cringe. I love it so much. And it reminds me of a different era. If we map out our entire unit and baddie domain, actually, I'm gonna call them units officially. So if we map out our entire hero, let's just say hero and baddie units domain, then we can use a little info bubble with their icons and a number next to it to show uh, uh, to give a quick glancery look. Glance? Is this even a word? Is that not a word? Glancery? Glancery? Whatever. I'm using it. Quick glancery look. Or is it E? Glancery? I don't care. I don't care, all right? English is my language now, okay? I own it. Quick glancery look at what is going down at every location. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna get to the chat. I promise. Just let me finish this thought process real quick. All right. So if we have the tongue overworld hub in the center, then we see the six teeth, like kind of like an arc surrounding it, kind of like like a mouth, kind of like a mouth. And then we have the little info bubbles that shows you how many units, what's going on each one of them, so you can like think where you want to distribute. We can't do too much info dump, but I would like to add like a bar or something to kind of represent like because you have the numbers information, but I want a bar that represents like what is the status of your units like you should know which one needs your priority to click on and like return units home for healing. or not. And so like one bar that represents like your health versus the enemy's health or something like that. Something like that. Displaying um, hero versus baddie health or something. So you know what to so you know which tooth to prioritize. Prioritize with a quick glance. Okay, I'll get caught up on chat now. Let's see what's going on. Ba 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 ba. Hello again to Frog. So with this design, you would be constantly bouncing back and forth between teeth locations and playing them kind of independently from another. Yeah, that was the idea behind it. That was the idea behind it. Like the entire world is constantly going, and like your job is to figure out how to best manage, you know, the different teeth. That was the idea behind it. Kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's rotation pattern mixed with defense game. Yeah, just like that. Because I've played that game before. What game? What game jam is this? Yo, what's up, Frog? So we're not a part of any official game jam. We're just doing our own little game jam for the sake of trying to learn something. I have been doing a lot of design studying over the last few years, and I've been wanting to kind of flex some of those muscles. And I've also been seeing a lot of like really cool mobile games recently, and I want to learn more about making mobile games. So that's what we're doing. We're just trying to learn the most we can about making a mobile game. We might land flat on our face, or we might make something cool. Either way, we're gonna learn something. Yo, shout out to Shelfman. Welcome. Welcome to our little family. There's only a few of us here, but we're having a great time. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? If you've been here for a minute, you better say yes, that's right. All right. We gotta show off right now. Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Fod, welcome, welcome. Okay, back to it. Okay, so that's another thing to think about as well. It's just like displaying the hero versus baddie unit health. Just so you have a better idea like what to prioritize as it's all going down. I kind of like I'm doing the interface like in another section. Um, but okay, but in terms of the interface, I think that like a tap should be more than enough, right? Like you have the overworld, you do a tap into the hub, the tongue hub. I like that name. Tongue hub is banger, dude. I wrote it down somewhere, right? Tongue hub, yeah. Banger, tongue hub. Um so you do a tap into the tongue hub and then you get to see like all your units. Well, okay, so here's something we need to think about for sure, right? It's that if you have a bunch of units, are you expected to tap like 30 units? Okay, something to think about. Things to think about is like when you get to owning a lot of units, are you expected to have to tap 100 times, for instance? I think this game can be completely driven by a tap. I don't think we need anything more than just like tap, tap, tap. I don't think we need joysticks. I don't think we need swipes. I don't think we need any of that stuff. Just tap, tap, tap. Which is simple, right? I can go to grandma and be like, hey grandma, here's a game. She's like, oh, I don't have a gamepad. I'm like, grandma, listen, it's okay. You don't need a gamepad. All you need is a mobile phone, grandma. That's all you need. Do you have a finger? You got a finger, grandma? Just tap. Tap the mobile phone, grandma. That's it. All right? Really simple. You got unit, send units place. That's it, grandma. You got this. All right? You go have at it. Okay. I would just want to make sure that it doesn't take more than one action to get from one location to another. What do you mean by that? When you say action, how do you define action? Because I hear action and I think of something that may not be what you think of when you say action, but I would like to know when you say action, what do you mean by action? What do you mean by that? Sorry for pointing at you. That's very rude. Otherwise, it could get frustrating to quickly transfer between locations when needed. Yeah, tell me. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Grandma doesn't have a gamepad? Unacceptable. I mean, listen, all right. Grandma's used to doing slots at the casino, all right? Okay, so that's a great question actually. I'm gonna make this yellow just for my attention later. It's a really good thing that needs to be answered for the interface. Um, the immediate thing to think about is like grouping, right? But then we have to create like a whole grouping interface in UI, and then we're starting to add complexity that may or may not be needed. Uh, maybe a simple solution is that we have grouping, right? But instead of grouping as you understand it, it's kind of like disguised grouping, right? Where it's like you have the tongue hub. I should probably draw some of this out. Let me draw some of this out. All right. I'm gonna stop being lazy. All right. So we can all get on the same page here. That is so bright. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. 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 What is going on here? What is going on here? I ask. How is this so long, yo? Jeez Louise. Okay, so this is a phone, right? This is a phone. So what I'm thinking is, right, maybe a solution to answer that question of like, you have to click 100 times, Patui, is we give them, so this is like the tongue hub, right? This is the tongue. This is a tongue, okay? Then here are the 6 teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shit. I guess we would put the info dumps underneath or something. Like the info dumps would be like this. Or I guess like if the layout's like this, then we can do a long info dump like this. They just like list all the units and their number right next to it. It'll make sense when I describe it in a second, all right? Bear with me. This is a mess, but bear with me. Okay, so this is like the very valuable information and a quick glance relook. You can see, I'm not gonna do it for all of them, but, well, actually, I'm spazzing now. Okay, so this is the tongue hub. I'm talking about groups for now, right? And you have your tongue hub castle. Beautiful castle. Beautiful, beautiful, right? But we create like groups, but not in the way that you would recognize them as groups, right? So like there's the around it, there's gonna be like a few different like little cities, right? Like there's 4, let's give them 8, right? So you have up to 8 groups that you can make. And you essentially just assign, like when you create a new unit, you say, okay, I want to put you here, right? And that unit goes to there. And then you can do another one, you put them there, right? So then by way of this, you're creating like groups. And you can then click on whatever town, right? And send that entire town to go to whatever tooth you want. So it just reduces the amount of clicks when you start to get a lot of units. But if you wanted to, you could also, I guess, like click into the town and then tap one individual unit and deploy them. That's what I was thinking. I would, uh, let's see. So you said like tap on hub button then tap on world, I would consider that 2 actions. Right. So then let's see, something like tap on hub. And then tap on world. Right. I guess technically, excuse me, to do that you would need 3 actions because you tap into the hub, tap a unit, tap in the world, tap a tooth. That'd be 4. Which would get tedious after a while. They're racing. I hope they're winning. Listen, game design is hard. Game design is hard, yo. But I'm saving a lot of time by doing this on paper before doing it in code. So let's do a quick sim, right? Like, let's say that I have 4 units. Let's say why didn't I do this in Photoshop? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Oh no, that's not what I was wanting to do. Okay, so let's do a simulation, right? Let's say that I have, that's way too small. Let's say I have 4 units. And I have 2 here in this group. I have 2 in this group. No. Let's make this like more exciting. I have 3 in this group and I have 1 in this group, right? And so scenario 1, the one in the 1 group is very strong, very, very strong. Okay. It can handle an army of like 50 by themselves. Okay. I decide to send 1 to here. That's what I decide to do. Say it's under attack or something. I make that decision. Good. I can just click on the group and send it, right? And I've decided that these 3 work together and they are going to go defend this tooth, right? So I click on this group and I send it here. Okay. That's well and good. That's pretty simple. You stay in the overworld. You don't have to tap in and all that messy work. Just literally doop, right? But the question is, what if there is 1 unit? No, yeah, let's say there's 1 unit in the group of 3 that I do not want to send because it's currently healing or something and I want it to heal more before deploying it. So I want to select 2 out of the 3. Then the immediate idea is that I would tap into this group, select the 1 unit I want to isolate, and then move it over to here, and then tab back out to the home world, and then select that group and send it over with the 2, right? That seems fine, but the question is when you start to scale that, right? If there's 20 units in there and 7 of them I don't want to send, then that seems like it's a bit tedious at that point to I guess the question is like, what is the UI? What is the UI for the group view? Because if in the group view, I can literally do 1 tap, send here, 2 taps, send here, 3 taps in here, 4 taps in here, 5 taps in here. That is better than 1 tap, world, send here, tap back in, 1 tap, world, tap here, tap it. That's way better than that. Like we cut out, what is that? 2 actions versus 4 or 5. Um, which is very much possible if we have a complete understanding of our domain, which is going to be at this moment 8 subgroups and then 6 teeth. In the location view, we could just show that like somewhere, which means that we probably want like dedicated screen space, like no matter what the view is, to like display that information and maybe even make it clickable. I can't draw a straight line to save my goddamn life. Oh my god. Oh my god. Here we go. Here we go. Oh. That is straighter than a picture frame. I don't know. Leave me alone. That's doable. That's very much doable. And maybe we don't need it on this view, but maybe the other view we would need it. So let me let's try and mock that up real quick. What would that potentially look like? I should pause for chat. Let's see. I missed a lot. Missed a bit. Where are we at now? We're trying to figure out the interface stuff at this moment before we do any coding, because we can save so much time if we figure this out before we get to coding. Do you ever intend for the player to see the tooth locations, like actively observing the battles? That would be very nice. That's my original intention. Um, but I'm willing to scrap it if we can't, if it just doesn't make sense, or if there's not enough time. But that is my original intention. I want you to be able to see them like getting down on top of a tooth cavity or something. Allowing allowing the tongue locations to build up units, then switching over location. Do you want to send them to what is going on? Allowing the tongue locations to build up units, then swiping over the location you want to send them to would be a concise way to send units quickly with the player kind of loses control. I don't know why my brain, my small, tiny brain I can't process this. Allowing the tongue locations to build up units, got that part, then swiping over the locations you want to send them. Oh, I think I know what you're saying. I think you're saying like the central hub like builds the units and then you would just like send them to one of whatever group. I think that's what you're saying. Um, it's a good idea. I haven't thought that far ahead about how you go about getting new units. I haven't really thought that far ahead. Like, I'm not sure if we're doing coins, if we're doing kill count. I don't really know at this moment. Um, Maybe I should be thinking about that. But anyways, before I do that, I'm really curious. So like this view, right? I just assume that we are gonna have at the very top, we're gonna have like dedication for 1, 2, 3, 8 plus 6 is 14. Yeah, 14. We're gonna have room for 14 locations, so literally just 7 by 2. Come on, work with me, work with me. 3. I don't know if that will fit without doing that. Okay, fucking hell. Yeah, let's get him a little closer, maybe. Oh my god. Why am I using paint? Why am I doing this to myself? I don't know either, folks, all right? Okay. Okay. We got 6. And I'm gonna do Listen, this isn't going to be the cleanest UI. It's not going to make the most sense because there's going to be 7 tongue locations and then 1 tongue location on the bottom, then 6 teeth. But at the moment, that's what we're rocking, right? And then here, down here, I should label these. So if anyone is just confused, this is overworld view right here. Why am I using paint? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, overworld view simulation. Fuck, whatever. And then this is the location view. All right. And so, this is what I would like to do. How do I get back to? Oh, there it is. This is what I would like to do. I would like to simply just like, what the hell? What the hell is that? What is going on? What is going on? This is what I get for using paint. What is this? It's a erase line? Is it a white line? It's a white line. Okay. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Who cares? Let's move on. Um okay. Oh my god. What is going on? Bruv, why is this doing this to me? How? Both are selected to be black colored. Why? They're both selected to be black. What is going on? I, I don't I don't understand. Does anyone understand this? Does anyone understand why they're white? Listen, I have nothing against white, okay? I just need them to be black right now, okay? What is going on? Why? Oh my god. Of course. Of course. Of course. Why am I using this goddamn godforsaken app? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Does this make any sense? Does this make any sense? Anyone, please. Does this make any sense? Please. I'm using select tool. I know because I'm trying to copy and paste. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Transparent select. Is that the problem? Is it because I'm doing transparent select? Can I not do transparent select? Oh my god. I'm over this. I'm over this. I'm over this. Since when does using transparent select mean make the boxes transparent? Listen, it honestly amazes me that Microsoft is still a company in 2023. I'm not sugarcoating it. I don't know how they have survived this long. Anyways. Um okay. We continue on, okay? So this is what I imagine the location view looks like. You have your locations at the top, you have your units at the bottom, right? And then in the middle here, you have literally like a 3D. This is a tooth. This is the top of a tooth, okay? It's now a battle arena, all right? And you literally have like your units versus the bacteria things. Hobgrop, hobgrop, hobgrop. I don't know what that is. That is not What do you think it is? They have four arms. Okay, they have four arms. I repeat, they have four arms. All right. Um. There it is. Hobgoblin. Yeah. This is what I would like for a location to look like, right? And so, in terms of interfacing with it, you would just select your unit, I guess, and say where you want them to go. I think transparent select make you select the transparent parts of an image instead of the non-transparent. That is, if true, Frog, listen, I respect and I love you. If true, that is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. Obviously, it's not your fault. Again, I am very surprised that Microsoft is still a company in 2023. But we're moving on. This is what I would imagine this location view. I'm getting a little sidetracked. Um, someone, I mean, why did I draw this? What was I trying to solve? Oh, reducing clicks. That's right. And so with that, if you have an overall view of your units, you could click your unit. Ideally, this would show like their health, maybe even like rank them lowest health to highest health or something. So you can just like know to always drag the first one to go home or whatever. Um, but then I guess I also imagine that you could come to this view, click a tooth, and then like just send them all back home as well. I wonder if like a drag. I guess I wonder if like we'll need a drag, right? So we can make the difference between like a drag and a click. A click is like I have the intention of entering this view, but a drag is like I have the intention of sending units somewhere. I think it's good to write down things to think about. Um, I guess that should be an interface, right? Click versus drag. Clicks have the intention to enter a view. Drags have the intention of sending a unit. And I think that like if we do decide with this and we keep this as like the Bible for like everything in the game, I think it will. These are like the small subconscious things that players don't even recognize, like really help you, the player, like have a good play session, right? It's like no matter what, if you click, you know that something is going to pop up, something's going to open. No matter what, if you drag, you know that you're going to be sending something somewhere, right? And we don't want to confuse it where it's like you drag a upgrade to a thing or you click to you know, like if we just keep this convention, it'll help a lot with like the simplicity aspect of the design. Uh, that's so much info for buttons. What do you mean? What do you mean by this? What do you mean by this? Solving for X. Maybe you could make the health be symbolized the cell wall thickness. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say with the swipe comment earlier. Okay, fair enough. Cool. Well then, listen, you're ahead of your time. All right. All right. Someone said that that's so much info for buttons. I'm not sure what you mean by that. What do you mean by that? In the location view, there were 20 small piece of information buttons for press the use for the user. I don't know. What do you mean by like 20 piece of information? Um, I don't know if I agree. I feel like this is pretty simple. Feel free to argue your point, stand your ground, okay? But my argument is that where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? Why is it not going over Adobe? I call this Adobe. My bad. I'm sorry, Adobe. Listen, you're terrible, but you're not this terrible. I'm sorry, Adobe. I'm going to say Paint. Um, these are not buttons. These are droppables. I think they're called, like, they're drop zones, right? I think really simply it'll be like a castle icon with the one, castle icon with the two, all the way up to eight, then a tooth icon with the one, tooth icon with the two, all the way up to six. Maybe the tooth would need to display more information, I think. Potentially, right? This is one of the things we might have to play test. But let's just say that we use the border to to display some information, right? And with the teeth, I think there's two information that we currently are thinking about. And there's only one that makes sense, which would be like this, the health of the tooth, right? So we can use the border to display the health of the tooth, right? Icon tooth number 1 through 6, and the border displays the health of the tooth, right? So we could display the health of the tooth, or we could display the like battle distribution, which is like this right here. But I don't think that's too busy though. I think that's like good amount of information, at least for the drop zones. Um and then the buttons down here, these are, I wouldn't even call them buttons. They're gonna be draggables. It's gonna display unit, and then the border can represent their HP. And what more do we need? Maybe we can give the player like some agency to like sort them a little bit so that it rises whatever they want to be rise to the top. Like I was thinking auto sort of like lowest HP goes here no matter what, but maybe we add auto sort. Sort for the location view. Um and then even then there's like the question of like how many realistically in game, how many units are we going to have at one location at a time? I don't think it's going to be 100. I don't think it's going to be like 100 units per tooth. That seems like too much. But again, that's one of those things we're going to discover through playtesting. I don't know. I think this is good. I think this is pretty good. There's obviously some questions that we need to get answered, but I don't think that we'll be able to answer some questions unless we start to really code it out and design it. I'm just gonna go through this doc real quick and see if there's anything else to discuss, or just at least get an idea where we're at. There's no one in the comments. Okay, so some turret fusion unit blending. Okay, attack. I'm gonna change this to N because we don't know exactly. I think 6 might be the number, but um, you have to distribute your forces to defend against them. Okay, they destroy an ammo. You have to protect them using feelings to slow down enemies. Tongue is the central base for healing your units. 2 teeth defenders. Those are the OP that you're working to try and get. The hypothesis is that distributing your units to defend N teeth is fun. That's the hypothesis, right? And at the center of mass is the RTS features of sending units, right? Now the orbiting What is orbiting the center mass is unit blending, and I think idler is like no go. I think idlers, as far as what we've fleshed out so far, it seems pretty no go. I don't think we really have any idle feature where you like can put the phone down, come back, and something has accrued. I think it's one of those games like you kind of have to always be active with the app as well with the game, which is fine. I think that's fun. Major design pillars, unit upgrading, right? So the pro of unit upgrading is that you can create stronger units, which will help you kill enemies faster. But the con is that you'll have less units, right? Which is going to be, which if I glance over at this, I guess that yeah, I mean there are some questions that like without playtesting it would be really hard to really figure out what the real answer is to them. Because I can sit here and hypothesize all day that like having say that this location view we're in and this is on tooth 6, right? It's a really strong that kills a quick, it kills it real quick, right? And we send this from tooth 6 to tooth 4, and due to its strength, like it's able to easily beat both 6 and 4 bacteria units, which compensates for like if you were able to, I mean, if you instead sent two different unit groups to each tooth to do. Yeah, it's like there's some questions that like it's impossible to answer without actually getting to the code of things, you know. But I like how simple it is. I like that like this is the only thing really that we have to think about. It's just like the unit upgrading. Like we're not making it super convoluted. We're not adding all these features for feature's sake. I really like that. If we run into any issues with it being boring, we can really play with the negative space or the cons rather of having less units. Elevator pitch. Bacteria is constantly attacking your teeth. You control a teeth cleaning army, and it's your duty. It's your duty to intelligently deploy them. I found the word finally. Tactically, to tactically deploy them to defend in teeth. Um, over time, more and more bacteria over time waves have more and more bacteria, so it is uh so so what am I trying to say? Over time waves have more and more bacteria, so I don't want to sound cheesy and say it is in your best interest. I want to say you also have the challenge of appropriately scaling your army to, I want to say something corny, vanquish. Scaling your army to, we haven't figured out the win state. This is where we put the win lose state right here. right? Like I would say preserve your teeth. Let's just say that for now. But which is good. That's actually a good pitch. I like that. How long have I been streaming? Coming up on 2 hours. Okay. Game ending conditions. When you're able to secure all six teeth, or if you are able to secure 50% of your teeth. That's pretty funny. Just buck tooth or something. Or if you're able to fuse the two defenders, you win. I hate all these win states, to be real with you. I don't like a single one. Excuse me. What about something that's, excuse me, that's a bit more active? Let's see, lose. If you lose all six teeth, the game is over. Okay, this is obvious. Like you can't really like make a game without this, right? Like this is obvious. The question is that if you lose a tooth, is there something that is lost due to that? Honestly, I don't think now is the time to answer that question. I think that like there's some features that you wait until you run into the issue to add that feature. And I think this is one of them. Like this is a good lose condition. It makes sense on paper. It makes sense to explain to the player. So we'll go with this. I don't really like the idea of you losing one at an end tooth. I like it for the only from the standpoint of like it like completely changed the way you play the game, right? Like if you lose one tooth in this game over, then distributing your forces is really important. It is really important. But what I don't like about it is it feels cheap. Like I should be able to let one tooth go if like I really need to. I just imagine being in a pinch and like all six teeth are being attacked and like I have one unit to turn the tide for one tooth. I guess like one out of two teeth. Like I had to pick which one like I want to save. And at the fact that like I'm in this state and I know I can't save both of them, I might as well like exit the game. I don't like that. I don't like that feeling. So I don't like this lose state. Lose all your units. I'm trying to think, is there any way out of that? Like, is there any? I guess not way out, but is there any potential frustrating situations where you lose all your units? I guess like if you lose all your units and you don't have the resources to get a new one, then because I guess it would be kind of frustrating if you lose all your units and then you have resources to like buy 100 units. Like that'd be kind of frustrating, you know. So I'm actually going to duplicate this and say lose all your units and don't have the resources to finance another. Which is that's a simple if statement. Both of these loose statement make sense. I don't think we should get any more complex than these two, to be real with you. Now, can we flip these to make a win state? If all six teeth are lost? No, because you start with all six. So obviously the flip of that is to get all six teeth. What about like a capture the flag element? What about like a capture the flag element? Hmm, 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 hmm. Wow, there's a lot of comments all of a sudden. Would you? What kind of would need to tie? You kind of would need to tie the production kingdoms to the tooth count. I would think. Like if you lose one tooth, maybe one of your production kingdoms should fall too. Oh, the teeth could thematically be like walls of the kingdom or something. If you lose a tooth, the entire wave disappears and the next one spawns. The reason why I'm against the losing the little tongue hubs is because like the purpose that the tongue hubs serve is not necessarily, at least as far as I've thought about it, it's not to like produce or generate anything at this moment. It's more so to give you like grouping, right? It's like a grouping in disguise. And I don't think that you should punish a player of like you have less groups now because you have one less tooth. I don't think that's like a fun difficulty spike, you know. Um, but the production might be that might be a good one if we can tie like production somehow to teeth. That might be good. My immediate fear is that it may increase the difficulty, right? Like if you're three teeth down and yet like your production is like 50% of what it was when you had all six teeth, like that might be like the spike might be too difficult. In that, yeah, you get what I'm saying. But what about like a capture the flag, right? So like all teeth start in a default state, and then you like always have to have a single unit on there at one time. This actually, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. This actually might be a banger, and I'll tell you why. If we look at it from a capture the flag point of view, it completely changes the game, and it also might make the play sessions much quicker, right? I guess what is the objective? Because on one hand, you have a game, you have a mobile game in which there's a begin state and there's an end state, right? Let's just do a fake win condition, right? Let's say destroy all bacteria, right? Let's say all in bacteria, let's say that this is what we're rolling with, right? The end state, this is completely going to define what this game is. So if you're still in the comments, I want you to chime in on this, right? So let's say that our in-game state is destroy all in bacteria. Let's say there's 1,000 bacteria, right? And every single wave, it starts off with 5, then it doubles to 10, then it doubles to 20, then it doubles to 40, then it doubles to 80, then it doubles to 160, right? All the way until 1,000 is done, gone, right? And if you're able to last that long, then you win. And that's kind of like a, what's that mode called? Like a survival mode. It's like a survival mode, if you will, right? You want to survive for all the bacteria, which on the at the core, this is what all games are. They all share like one of a few different properties, right? Capture the flag, survival. Um, what other? There's what is the other one? What's the one where like you're expected to die? Like you're expected to die, last as long as you can. Kind of like a last man standing. But at the core, under the hood, all games are like one of a few different archetypes, right? And so let's say that we're running with the survival. It was like you need to survive until all bacteria are destroyed. Then we might have to implement like saves so that you come back to the game later, right? You save your state, you play it over a span of a week or something like that, right? Until you reach the end, which is like one style of game. But then there's also, if we flip it, right? the objective of the game is like now capture the flag, where you start off with, let's just say, 5 units on each tooth, right? You start off with 5 on each tooth. Wave one bacteria comes to each tooth, right? Let's just say. Now, if and let's say wave 5, 10 units come, right, to each tooth. And let's say you didn't properly play the game and you lose 4 teeth, right? Now there are a bunch of bacteria that are capturing the flag of 4 teeth, right? You're not out the game. Those teeth aren't lost. You can now regroup and figure out a way to then attack the other teeth and reclaim them, right? So it's like a constant push and pull on on who's winning, which I think is interesting because now it becomes not a game of like there's a beginning and end, but now it becomes a game of like you play it once and you figure out how to optimize your strategy more and more and more and more. Which I guess to this point I would turn to like what works better for a mobile audience. I don't know. Is it better to have a game where you play it over a span of a week and then once you beat it you probably won't return to it anymore because the investment it took you to get there was a lot in terms of mobile standard, or a game where like you're kind of expected to lose like the first couple of times, like Faster Than Light, like FTL, kind of expected to lose like the first couple of times you get the rope of things, and then you get better, and then you get better, and then you get better, and then you get better to the point where you're capturing the flags of all 6 teeth in like 10 minutes. But I guess that means you can't start with units on all of them because then you automatically won. You have to start with units on like maybe half of them, half and half. The game starts off with like the bacteria have already attacked half the teeth. Go and secure, which then makes it really interesting because then this gives more. This I think this gives a lot more weight to the play styles of if you have a lot of units, then you can just by numbers game, sheer numbers game, you can combat whatever numbers are being thrown at you. But if you have like stronger units, then you'll be overwhelmed oftentimes, but they're stronger to compensate for that. And then if you have like somewhere in the middle, that's where the real fun happens. I don't know. I'm kind of into the capture the flag. What are your thoughts? So like what we have is like capture the flag or survival, which again is just like imagine it's like 1,000 bacteria and every single wave dispenses like one at a time, two at a time, four at a time, and then eight at a time, and 16 at a time, and 32 at a time until like there is no more left. Versus capture the flag. Once you secure all 6 teeth, you win. If you lose all 6 teeth, if the bacteria secures all 6 teeth, you lose. So like King of the Hill, and if you have a unit winning, you control and don't take damage. But if the enemy has control, then the tooth is damaged. No, no, no. I'm completely saying forget about the concept of teeth being damaged. I'm saying forget about the concept. I'm saying more of a concept of like capture the flag. Who controls the tooth, right? If the bacteria controls all your teeth, it's game over. You're locked out. You're locked out. If you control all your teeth, then you win, right? And so the starting game state would be you control 3 teeth, they control 3 teeth. 50-50. Kind of important question at this point. Can you pull units off of a tooth once you put them on? Yes, very important feature. Very important feature. So you're gonna have to move your units to the tongue hub if you want them to heal, right? Which then leaves, the teeth vulnerable to be attacked by a swarm of bacteria. So it's like that's part of the challenge. It's like managing. Do you keep a unit on this tooth, fight to the death, or do you pull them back so they can heal? What do you do? Do you send more units that haven't properly healed yet to defend this tooth? Like that's where the challenge and hopefully the fun is going to come from the RTS features. And how do you win? I think I just explained that. Hopefully, generally the best design mobile games is one that makes people sit through the ads. I mean, listen, you're sarcastic, but you're not lying. I don't get it. Do you capture the flag or are you defending? Hey, what's up, Sandwich? What's going on? I think the King of the Hill and controlling all six is a good win lose condition. Um, I don't get it. Do you capture the flag or are you defending? So you're doing both. You're doing both, right? So the win state, Dem- Demitar. The win state is controlling all six teeth. Let me go to my visuals, okay? So in the sim here, which is about to get really messy, where's my mouse, yo? Why does it not? Oh, it's just the white mouse and it turns. I see. Okay, so here's the beginning state, right? The beginning state is like red is bacteria, right? And then your units are green, right? So this is the beginning state when you start the game. And so you're briefed. It's like bacteria have attacked half our teeth. We need you to go capture them, right? And so you can, if you want to, send your unit over to this tooth immediately to capture it, right? But if you do that, now this is not secured anymore, right? So if a wave comes, a bacteria comes and it can secure that tooth, right? Now this turns red, this turns green, this turns red, right? And the objective is to figure out how to manage your units so that you can secure every single tooth, right? But it gets tricky because if because all the while waves will be continuing to come to the teeth, right? And so you're going to have to manage like when do I let this unit heal? This unit just went through a battle. It's lost half its health. It may not be able to survive this next wave, right? Do I keep the unit here and send a unit from the hub to to defend? Do I send a unit that is by themselves at another tooth over to defend this tooth? Like you now have to balance like your resources. Um, and I think I like this a lot better, only for the fact that like it's okay if you lose, right? Like losing is part of the game progression, right? Because you're learning as you lose. In the other game, if you lose, you have to start over. Probably you'll lose a lot of progress, which I feel is probably not the best for a mobile game. Um, as you're just like sitting on the toilet playing this game quickly, you know. So you can take back teeth. Yes, you can take back teeth. Exactly. There's a control area, an area control game mode in Insurgency Sandstorm, which seems sort of similar, though not the same. It sounds like a war game. I used to play this game called not Conflict Desert Storm. It was like Red State or something like that, where the multiplayer feature was basically that. But again, like as I was saying, on behind the curtain of like every single game, there's really it's like one of like seven different like game archetypes, right? That they just like personalize for their own game. Um, so it doesn't surprise me that like this game has probably been in thousands of games by this point, or this feature rather, because there's not too many to pick from, you know. But it's important that you understand this. I think if you're trying to do like good design. Um, are you opposed to making different unit varieties rather than just having weak versus strong units? I'm not sure what you mean by that, Red. Can you elaborate? Weak versus strong versus variety? That seems like variety. Weak versus strong seems like a variety to me. Sounds great, but can you please show the screen? Oh my god, I'm not showing the screen. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm getting sleepy. It's like what, 4 in the morning? It's 3 in the morning. Forgive me. But yeah, what I was showing earlier was this right here. Half the teeth. Red is the bacteria. Green is your units, right? And I think starting state should be really simple. In terms of designing games, I think like the best thing you can do is like think of your starting state, think of your end state, and then like interpolate in between. And in terms of the starting state, I think like one bacteria, one of your units as a starting state is like perfect, right? Because with the blending feature, oh my god, this is so perfect. Check this out, right? If we make it factual that one unit can destroy one bacteria, right? The ratio is like, let's just say it's two bacteria for one of your units, like level one unit, right? You have the option, if you want to go and seize this um, this tooth immediately. Any of these tooth, you can immediately start of the game go seize a tooth, right? But now this is left open, right? So when the next wave comes, you kind of have to make a decision. Which tooth is more important to you, right? And there will be meta that evolves. This is more optimal to seize these three over these two potentially. But you that's one choice you can make, right? Another choice you can make is fuse two of them, right, to make an even stronger unit. That's another choice you can make. Um, Another choice you can make is put all three units onto one tooth for some weird reason. Maybe that's a meta that you want to go with. I don't know. But having a starting state of this gives you a lot of different options. I have been streaming for 2 hours and 11 minutes. I should be ending this stream soon. Like maybe units could have different stats to manage, like speed, strength, health, that could vary between units. I love that idea, Red. I love that idea a lot. However, I don't want to add complexity without a need for it yet. Not yet. If we play test this game and there becomes a need to add that complexity, I'm all for it. But like in this stage, we save that for like after the game jam and we want to turn this to a full game, if it makes sense. Okay, I think we're all on the same page with like this capture the flag approach for win state, lose state. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially for a mobile game. Do I have any apple juice left? I'm gonna lubricate with some apple juice. Shout outs to Mott's, baby. Let's go. Yeah, the fun RNG loot system, all that stuff sounds beautiful, fantastic, great. But for a 72-hour game jam, it's we're thinking too far ahead. Like the objective we're trying to accomplish right now is just create a game like an engine, the engine for the game. And if that works out well, you guys enjoy it, like playing it, you want more, then we can then think like beyond that. But getting the core, the crux is like the most important part. But I'm feeling good. This is feeling great. This is feeling great. I do need to get off this live stream at some point soon. But I don't feel like I'm there yet. I'm gonna change these to yellow because they are no longer valid with what we have decided. I'm gonna make these reflect the actual win-lose state now. Game archetypes. Also, who is that? I need to call someone out. Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Red. You were saying King of the Hill. I don't think this is necessarily King of the Hill, but that is another archetype. But I don't think this is it because King of the Hill oftentimes depends on um, time, like a clock, right? So it's like whoever has held the whoever has been the king of the hill the longest by the end of the match is the winner. But this is more of like capture the flag where you want to bring the flag. I mean, technically speaking, it's I guess like a hybrid of both, if you will, because you're not bringing a flag back to base. But anyways, whatever. All right. Do you plan on making the bacteria just stronger over time now, rather than increasing the bacteria count? Uncertain at this moment. If we can get away with just increasing the count, I would love to, because that saves us a lot of time, especially when it comes to balance. If we can get away with it, let's do it. Um, yeah. To be fair, Red, I was giving you shit, but like it isn't technically captured flag either, right? It's like a bit of a hybrid. Let's say capture the hill, huh? There we go. We're innovators. King of the flag. No, that doesn't sound as good. Okay, so now our win state is I guess technically I already have it, right? If you secure all 16. If you're able to secure all 16. Damn, I want to play this gray box so bad right now. I want to play this gray box so bad. I want you to post ones in the chat for the two people that are in here, hopefully. Uh ones in the chat if you want to play this gray box immediately. Also, if you're watching the VOD, I want you to comment one in chat if you want to play this uh immediately. This is what, 2 hours in? No one's gonna make it this far. 2 hours, 16 minutes. Okay. So if all six teeth are lost, that's not technically, that's a different feature. Well, I guess wait, this one still is true. This is still a true lose state. If you lose all your units and don't have the resources to finance another, then you also lost. But if the bacteria is able to secure all teeth. One thing I need to think about is the resources. I really need to think about the resources. I would like to, by the time the stream ends, like tomorrow when I get back to the office, just start to work on the project and not have to worry about any more design. And resources is a pretty big one, so I definitely want to do that before I end the stream. But we've done a lot of good work. Shouts to everyone who posted one in the chat. We've done a lot of good work today. Now let's think about resources. All right. Oh fuck. My only real main design concern at this point is just the number of actions to move units around, selecting the units to move around. Can I put a pin in that? We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that, Red, I promise. All right. But for now, I want to think about resources. Don't let me forget, by the way. If I forget, scream at me. Um, okay, so resources, right? Say this is our starting state. And why am I using paint? It just hit me. Like, anyways, say this is our starting state. How do we get resources to make more units? I ask of thee. Potentially, the bacteria could carry some currency. So it's literally like one bacteria equals one like. But then, how does turret fusion do it? I don't even remember. I think it gets more expensive every time you buy it. That sounds about right for an idle game. Sorry if you heard anything. I'm sorry. Let's see. Let's just check out how Turret Fusion does it. Wait, why am I getting ads? Oh, because I'm on a different account. Okay, so they gift you with the turret at the beginning of the game, right? And then you're slowly getting plus one something. I don't see the coins going up. Is it plus one research or something? Okay. Wait, hold on. That was so fast. Wait a second. Yeah, so you get plus one research with every kill, and then it costs 150 research to get a pea shooter. So then you buy it for 150 and then goes up to six what? 632. 150, 632. So okay, so it goes up when you buy it. So it's more expensive. But then they fused it so they can get a new turret, which gives you more money faster. Mhm. And then it's just that slow trickle of acceleration in your units that makes you feel OP by the end. But the thing is that nice. Now they got a level 3. Gives you even more money faster. The thing is though that like the concept of it costing more to buy them is very much an idle concept, which where this is not an idle game. If you come back to the game, the state will be exactly where you left it. So that doesn't quite make sense for our game. So this is where complexity is going to start being introduced. Is like trying to balance like the cost of units. Let's see what chat's talking about. Red says the two ideas that come to mind are defeating bacteria, or okay, hold up. I didn't give you permission. I did not give you permission to come on my screen. All right. The two ideas that come to mind are defeating bacteria or assigning units to like a mining area. I definitely want to avoid the mining because that's adding a feature that then we have to think about how that works in the trifecta. I said trifecta. I was trying to sound cool, but I meant to say like the overall design or something. I don't know. Or third idea is that units don't cost any currency inherently, and it's more about production time. Huh. I like that idea. I really like that idea because it removes that stress from the player. But the issue is if it's not tied to something, then this loose state is now void. But I do like the idea of removing money completely, like currency. I do like that idea. I'm just gonna spitball some ideas, right? So let's say that like we remove the need for the user to press a button to make more units, right? Like if you play the game properly, you will have units. Point blank. Um, we could do something where it's fixed, right? Every 10 seconds you get a new unit, no matter what. But then the problem is that that doesn't scale. Like towards the end game, where the waves are sending more units to you or more stronger units, whatever we decide, every 10 seconds doesn't make sense. So there would need to be something that increases that speed, right? Which is why I think that it's maybe better for us to tie new units to, like, really simply, every 10 bacteria you kill, you get a new unit. Damn, now we're getting into balance. Because then when you look at it, like if you look at it just simply as a graph, right? Like if every 10 units, every 10 bacteria you kill, you get 1 unit, and it takes 2 bacteria to kill 1 unit, then that equation is royally off already. You could just assign the kingdoms to one of the unit types you have. Or so like you have one, you have kingdom one, make the weak enemies every 2 seconds. It makes a unit. Wait. So like if you have kingdom one making weak units, then every 2 seconds it makes a unit. And if you have kingdom two making strong units, then every 10 seconds you have a strong unit. I mean, the problem is that like there is no real concept of strong or weak like that. Like there's levels, right? Like if we're stealing from Turret Fusion, like you're fusing. Well, I guess like this technically is like strong weak units. You can just buy them off right outright. Hmm. 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 Um. What if we tie unit production to the amount of teeth that the bacteria controls? Right. It's a direct counterbalance, and it also adds conflict for the player. So it's like if you want to hit the max level two teeth defenders, like you kind of want to let the bacteria control a few teeth. You know what I mean? I love direct conflict like that. If you have 5 out of 6 teeth, you're not going to be producing a lot of units, which makes sense. Why do you need to? You don't really need to. I'm gonna write that down. That's interesting. It sounds pretty straightforward. I just wonder if that inherently makes the game easier then, because you would kind of never lose the last tooth if you could get more units that way. Red, I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand the feature. Oops, because it's the exact opposite, right? Like you don't. It's the correlation is the more units. Sorry, the more teeth you control, the less units you generate. Not the opposite. The less teeth you control, the more you generate. Like it can be tied to like the wait, I don't understand. How does it make the game easier? Because a perfect balance of the system is if you're 50-50. If you're 50-50, then you're essentially making like no. If you control, I guess it could introduce problems if you just move all your units to one tooth to just defend that one tooth. Like every single unit. Say you have like 100 units and you send them all to defend one tooth, then and then just let them control the other five, then it would be a bit of a cheat. Is that what you're saying? Like if you're on your last tooth and your production is increased, then it's harder to lose that tooth. Yeah. I mean, yeah, fair enough, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, good point. I mean, the only way to then, like, if we really wanted to go with the system, the only way to counterbalance that would be that every tooth has health, right? So it's like you could do that if you want to take that risk, but like you're gonna lose some teeth. But then we have to reintroduce like what does health for teeth mean look like? What does it mean? Um, okay, okay, this is harder than I thought. Um, Production is tied to the bacteria controls. Okay. Um. So then, what else? What else do we have then? How many bacteria you kill? Okay. Okay. Fair enough. You got me ready. You got me. Got me up against the ropes. I was sweating a little bit, but it's all good. Watch me bounce back. All right. Fair point. If we can do an easy metagame strategy of just sending every single unit to one tooth and just like exploit that. That's no good. Good catch. Good catch. Um, the only way to circumvent that would then be to introduce HP health. So you don't want to exploit that for too long because you will lose the game if you lose like more than 3 teeth. But then the question is, what value does teeth health have? Because I mean, essentially, if you did add that counterbalance, then it just puts a timer on how long you could exploit it. It doesn't get rid of the problem, obviously, but it puts a timer on it. Okay. So what if we tie it to direct kills, right? So this is the starting game state. I understand that the more that I kill, the more units I'll get. So I shift every single unit to the left, so I get that kill. let's just say that those three, they give me a new unit. So then I then send that unit to defend one of the 6 teeth. This is harder than I thought. This is harder than I thought. I do like the idea of it like being hands off for the player. I love that idea. It's just a matter of like, how do we do it effectively? I guess we need to go back to the core to answer this question. What is our hypothesis is that distributing your forces to defend in teeth is fun. And so if we tie it to the upgrading feature or something about defending the teeth, then we will be aligned with the purpose of making this game. Is it too late to remove the kingdoms entirely? What's up, crazy? Welcome. Welcome to our crazy little family. Like what I did? You like what I did there? You like what I did there? Um, and just put the production directly on a tooth on a per tooth basis. Put the production directly on a per tooth basis. Meaning what? If you secure a tooth and you produce, what do you how do you see that? Are they all produced no matter what? How do you see that? What kind of software are you using to note? I'm using Notion. I love Notion. It is so good. I've been sleeping on Notion for so long until I tried it and I was like, oh my God. It just notes all the way down. I'm spitballing. I'm spitballing, but like, what about what about the concept of like you have a unit and the unit goes out into the world to defend and then puts in work, right? The unit puts in work, right? And let's say that like the unit gets a kill count of 6 before it dies. Well, that kill count, this is really stupid. What am I saying? Is getting into those sleepy hours. We're starting to exit the coding hours and get into the sleepy hours. I'll just finish it just because like I know how it is to watch a stream and you might want to know what the stupid idea was. What I was gonna say is that like the unit puts in work, and depending on how much work the unit puts in, when it dies, it then like relinquish that work, gives it to the kingdom. I'm saying kingdom now. It's Tongue Hub. God damn you, Red House. It's Tongue Hub. Tongue Hub sounds way more lit than kingdom. And then you can decide if you want to sacrifice that unit to get like double the work. Very morbid. I'm gonna write it down. I don't really like it all that much, but I'm gonna write it down. Killing. Use obsidian if you like sleek. If you seek basedness, try Emacs. I used to do obsidian actually. It was pretty good. I really liked their node feature. Really liked it, but it didn't fit every single thing that I was trying to do. And it just Notion notes are just like it's just so good, dude. It's hard to not. I've heard Emacs. I'm not sure what it is though. I've heard it. Puts in working form killing bacteria. When dies, that work goes to the tongue hub to be converted into producing more units. And um, and you can at any point sacrifice a unit for double the work. Let's see. That sounds fine. It's just offsetting when you get the currency. Right, instead of immediately. This is hard. This is not easy. So you mentioned the idea of getting rid of the tongue hub completely. I like the idea for the simplicity. It definitely removes some complexity, but my initial reaction is it kind of breaks the game a little bit. Because like the whole point of the tongue hub was to heal the units. Then it was also to have a faux grouping mechanic. And if we got rid of it, then and maintain the like capture the hill that we've coined. Because you can carry a flag, you can't carry a hill. Okay. Um, and that would mean that the production would come from the teeth that you do secure or that you are securing, which creates a problem that the second that it becomes imbalanced, you won't be producing enough. But then like every unit auto heals now, I guess. Huh. How will the unit get the stuff back to the kingdom? Maybe having another unit to get the stuff back, or just put the unit into work, and just before it dies, it gets the resources to the kingdom. Red, red, you and I got beef, man. You got everyone calling it the kingdom now. It's the tongue hub, the tongue hub. uh, I mean, I like it. It's adding a lot of complexity though, where we have like extra units for like transporting and whatnot. It might be wise to tie the sacrifice bonus to percentage of health versus max HP. What 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 makes you say that? Because what happens if you have like a max level 3? And also, the sacrifice was supposed to be tied to the amount of work that they put in, not necessarily the HP, but I'm curious what makes you say that argument? Bro, I don't understand anything. I didn't understand. I'll go. See ya. All right, crazy. Thanks for stopping by. Is there a reason you have to actively move units from the groupings? I don't know. I feel like that's where the fun comes from, is the management aspect. Like if you have like I think that like if every unit was the same, then there was no reason for grouping. But the fact that like every unit is not the same, like grouping is like one of the most like essential aspects of an RTS is that you're able to decide what you want in what group. Because I feel like there would be a lot of frustration created if you, for instance, got one of the most OP units, the Teeth Defenders, right? And they're in this group that you don't want them in, but you can't. Like you have no say in that. Like the game just decides that for you. Like I feel like that would be very frustrating. Um, how would you? How are you suggesting just like another UI way of doing that, or I was so confused at why I hadn't been seeing any videos from you. Just realized I wasn't even subbed. What game jam is this for? What's up, Chuck? Welcome, welcome. We're just doing a game jam just because it's 3:30 in the morning for me. Forgive me, I am struggling right now. But yeah, I wanted to make a game over 72 hours. Uh, um, I've come to learn that like the best way to do a game jam is to set out an objective to learn something, and what I want to learn is how to make mobile games. So that's currently the goal is to, you know, build a mobile game that is fun, it's polished enough in 72 hours, and then learn from the experience. You know, we may fall flat on our face, or it may be good. Time will tell. And not just use a drag swipe feature to automatically port them to certain teeth as soon as the unit is made. Yeah, I know a feature you're talking about. I know what feature you're talking about. For whatever reason, when I hear that, it sounds like a late game ad feature. Not like I think like the essentials is like giving the player agency to create the groups that they want, and then be able to deploy the groups as they need. And like late game, like if we need it, then we can add like what unit you want to go to what tooth, right? Because like I feel like there's so much variation in like what unit you want to go to what tooth, especially at like a trickle feed, that it doesn't seem like top priority, but it's starting to get late. I'm starting to lose the vision a little bit. I suppose you would want to make your players choose between healing a unit versus letting them fight it out versus sacrificing. Otherwise, a player might just see a unit on 1 HP and sacrifice it to the. Oh, interesting. I see what you're saying. But is that a problem, though? I guess it is a problem because then what that kind of makes healing void. I guess depending on the unit, right? Like if the unit doesn't have enough work into it, if we are to go with that system, then it wouldn't make sense. But if they do have that work in them to get the equivalent or better, then it doesn't make sense to waste the time to heal them. You just sacrifice them. Well, actually, half or more because you get double if you sacrifice. Yeah, that's something to think about, man. See, now that we're starting to add like we're getting to the weeds of things. Things are starting to get really complex really fast. Um, Healing kind of becomes null if the work in a unit is half of its current value or more. Good call out. Good call out. I think you could just use a drag feature to kind of tether production to automatically port the teeth. Use a drag feature to kind of tether production to automatically port to the teeth. Yeah, I'm not against it. I think it's a good idea. It's just like not top of mind for me at the moment. I try to make a mobile game in Unity, trying to get the screen resolution all correct as a pain. Oh, don't even remind me, yo. I just set it and forget it, you know. Put some black bars up. Good luck, all right? Okay. There was something that I was gonna go back to. I don't remember what it was. Oh, you're saying the UI. Um, okay. I'm going to just hash out this resources a bit more. Then I'm gonna address the UI thing, and then I'm getting off here. I'm starting to lose it, yo. I'm starting to lose it. I'm like looking at y'all, like, give me all the answers. I don't want to think anymore. Okay. So the resources is really interesting. I think we have a couple of ideas, interesting ideas down, which is the unit puts in the work. I think that's an interesting concept. It does then create the issue of like um, healing the unit. If it has more work than what it can get out, then why heal it? Just like sacrifice it. Um, how many teeth the bacteria controls creates the issue of. I should just write these directly. Why heal it when you can sacrifice it if it has the equal value of work put into it. And then this one is you can exploit this by storing all units onto one tooth. This has the issue of. I mean, I haven't really thought this one through. So, like, if let's just say the ratio is like it requires 2 bacteria to kill one level 1, then does it mean that we would need 2 bacteria to create 1 unit? Is the math that simple? Every 2 bacteria? No, you would want it to be greater than that. You'd want to be like at least 3 because you're incentivizing the player to be more strategic. If you just rely on a 1-to-1, you're going to lose the game eventually. You have to be a bit more strategic. So if the ratio is like every 2 bacteria kill one level 1 unit, then you would need at least like 3 to incentivize the player to be more strategic in the way they play the game. I guess the issue with this is that like you have to figure out a good balance. And the issue with this one is how do you scale it? In late game. All right, what else we got? Unit production. Unit production. Good, fun stuff. Maybe make some random variants on bacteria spawn account so players are incentivized to not uniformly distribute units. Yeah, I think RNG there is probably gonna be a really good move to make. Can also add an extra layer, which is shit. To give the teeth HP, but keep in mind this doesn't solve the issue. It only puts a timer on it. Man, man, oh man, oh man. What if we just directly tie it to the I don't want to say amount of units you have, because you can easily break this as well. But like if we calculate overall power level of all your units combined and we just tie it to like that power level, that seems too complicated. That seems way too complicated. But I'm gonna write it down just because I had the thought. Yeah, because then I'd have to figure out like what is the beginning range, end range. Why did I make that decision for beginning range, end range? Like if your power level is low, are you just creating like a bunch of like 100 units a second? Like, yeah, it's too complicated. It's too complicated. Oh, what if quite literally? Okay, for those of you that are here, bear with me, all right? What if it is tied to unit production is tied to the success of defending a wave against a wave, a bacteria wave? What does this mean? What does this mean? I don't know, but it sounds good. Let's try and figure it out. Um, so I am assuming that the state requires you to already have the tooth secured, and you need to defend against a wave. So say you have these three teeth secured. If you go over and kill this, you get nothing. Congrats, you secured another tooth, but you don't get nothing from that. But if a wave is incoming and a wave, so I'd have to track like the start of a wave and the end of a wave, right? By the end of the wave, did you hold down the tooth? Like, is it yours still? If yes, then you'll get rewarded for that. If no, you get nothing. You get nothing. Because then this aligns perfectly with our game. What do I call it? Our game hypothesis. Because you are directly getting rewarded for defending the teeth. How does that play out? How does that play out? If it's a later wave and you have, let's say you're still distributed 3 out of, I'll give you a little leniency. You're 4 out of 6, okay? That's your distribution. You control 4 out of 6. And you have a strong wave coming for one in the teeth. You would be smart to shuffle your resources appropriately to ensure that you successfully defeat that wave so that you can get rewarded for it. And it's like, sure, you might lose a tooth from that. Having to shuffle around your resources, you might lose a tooth. You know, they might control one after the end of that. But due to the success of defending that one tooth, you'll be able to produce a lot of units to go claim those back, hopefully with ease. I don't know, man. That sounds like the perfect alignment. I don't know about you, but that sounds like the perfect alignment. The bacteria. Sounds good. You just need to balance the currency you gain. True. True. That part, I'm not too concerned. I'm not too concerned. I was mostly concerned about the exploits. I can't think of any like immediate exploits for this. I think I think it aligns so perfectly with our hypothesis. I'm not too concerned about the balance part. I mean, that's with such a simple game. I don't think that'll be too difficult. I mean, we could literally do like every X bacteria. If we're sticking with one unit for bacteria, every X bacteria you get a unit, right? But you can only claim this reward if you defend. Every two bacteria, which is good because we can even present that information before the wave even begins, right? It's like there are 80 bacteria coming, you'll get 40 new units if you can defend this, right? Present that information to the player, and they get to make decisions now. I can get 10 if I defend this, or I can get 20 if I defend this, or I can get 30 if I defend this, or I can get 40 if I defend this, right? I guess that's kind of like you'll always go for the most. Why wouldn't you? Oh, fuck. Damn it. Hold on. You always go for the most, which means you might always move all your units over to one tooth with the most. All of your units, every single one. You'll give up 3 teeth if you have to defend the one to get the 40. Yeah, I guess that like it's probably going to be important that there's more than one bacteria unit then. So that there's variety distributed on the teeth so that like it's not as easy as just like you do, you know, you get 40 units and you know that every unit can defeat like at least one per. So you attack a 40 unit with a 30 unit or even a 35 or even a 39 and it's like you're guaranteed to win. Like the variation can like change that up a bit where it's you're a little less sure if you want to give up a tooth, you know. Balances tune that would tie winning and losing the round to their positioning of units. Yeah, so here's the thing. I think that like this is a really strong resource management reward. What am I saying? I think this is a strong resource rewarder where it's tied to the success of defending a wave. However, in terms of like what that looks like, the details, I think we won't really know until we get to coding. But the crux of it, I think, is really strong, which is good. So we're gonna leave that where it's at. And then, as I promised, I'm going to get into the UI issue that you concerns you have, and then I do need to get off of this, man. I've been streaming for too long, too late. Um, so you're saying that you think it's gonna be a bit of a UI nightmare in terms of like shuffling around all the units. Uh, let's revisit it. So I made the location view to try and address that. Does it still hold? I think up top here they're all drop zones, and these are all draggables. So this will show all your units. And if there's one in particular that you want to move to a different place or return back to the hub, you would just drag and drop. Just whoop, whoop, whoop. I don't remember your exact note. I don't even remember what you said. Yeah, I don't remember what you said. Um, I guess like the immediate solution that comes to mind is just remove that from the player's agency. Maybe even something simple like a pause might even be helpful. Where like maybe where's things to think about. I suppose a root question would be what happens when you want to move more than one unit that's in a location. Okay? You're fucked, basically. Um so this is a bit of a hard question to answer only because like I don't really know how many units that I expect to be at a location at a time. Like, is 25 units a lot of units for one location? I don't really know. Because if that is like a lot, if that's considered a lot, right, then we can like take half that and assume that's going to be like an average, like 12 units. I think I'd be okay with like a user moving, because I don't think the case will ever be you're moving all 12, right? Because then you can just like pop out to the world map and then just like literally drag the world one of the tooth to another location and it'll literally go. But the game's a bit different now. Like I don't think that you would ever do that anymore. I don't think you would ever do that anymore. I mean, in rare occasions, but right. So then we need to streamline the location view. And I don't know. This is just it's hard to answer because I'm not entirely sure how grouping is gonna work yet. I'm not sure. Hmm. 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 Okay, let's think simpler, right? Let's think simply. What if we designed the game so that you'll never really have more than 5 units on one at a time? That simplifies the problem a lot. Because if that's the case, 5 times what, 6 is 30, like 30 units. Let's just say 30 units is the max. Then that simplifies the problem a lot. You probably could remember every single one of your unit if that is the max. But obviously that creates a new problem because now you have to figure out, if you have 5 units, the waves become a little less varied. It's a lot more predictable what a wave would be if the max is 5, right? Because you can't send a wave of 10 because the outcome becomes a bit more predictable. Every solution I could think of kind of drastically changed the game, like making the defenders much stronger and adding a reason to want each defender. I'm not sure what that means. Making the defenders much stronger and adding a reason to want each defender. I think the issue that I have, or the issue that we have, you and I, Red, is you're constantly redefining the terminology. So, like, I'm not, when you say defender, I'm not even sure. Like, do you mean the teeth defenders? The the max level units? Is that what you mean? Um, yeah, it's hard to answer this question just because I'm not entirely sure, like, what numbers we're going to be dealing with. And then, even when we have those numbers, what is the common behavior going to be like? Um, because if we go to the extreme, right, and there's 1,000 units that you have to manage, that is too much. That is way too much for, especially for a mobile game, right? At that point, it's like, who cares? Like, I'm just gonna let a unit die. Like, I'm not gonna heal them. Like, who cares? I have 1,000 of them. Like, it's not worth my time to manage 1,000 units. And at that point, it's like, you're better off removing the agency of the player and, I don't know, creating some rule set or something. But then that makes it a little less fun at the fact that you don't have control over this army. I think that's probably the biggest issue that we face, like beyond game balance. It's just like, how do we make the RTS aspect of it fun? In terms of like the micro view, right? I think the overworld makes a lot of sense, but the micro view is where we're gonna run into a lot of issue, I think. And sometimes, when you make games like this, like sometimes you get to coding it and the problems aren't like exactly obvious to you until you're interacting with it. And then sometimes, like when you're able to like interface with the problem and like understand it clearly what the problem is, the solution can become very clear as well sometimes. Um, because I'm just not sure how I'm going to interface with this or how any average user would interface with this. Because it very much could be the case where, like you said, when you want to move more than one unit, it could be very much be the case that like that is a very rare occasion, or maybe not that common that you want to move units, like. Which you wouldn't know unless you play tested. I am starting to burn the hell out. I don't think I have much left in me, but this has been incredibly fun. A really good session. I'm going to leave this here. Hopefully, I can just get to coding without much roadblocks tomorrow. Yeah, sometimes it is best to sleep on it for sure. But I think we have enough to like start coding something and just seeing how it feels. Sometimes, interfacing with how it feels can like really inspire like the right answers of what to do. But yeah, we didn't even talk about the upgrading at all. We didn't even talk about the upgrading at all, yo. Yeah, I mean the immediate thing that comes to mind for upgrading is like units that are in the same hub. In the location view, you have that option. Because like location view, this is for a tooth, but in a hub, like there's no battle. So I guess like it would be, I don't know, in the middle, I guess it would show you what units you could create based on what you have. Something like that. Well, my brain's starting to cop out. I need to I need to not do this anymore. But I do want to write that down. Excuse me. You are shown what options you have for fusing and can make those options. All right. Yo, yo. I want to thank you all for sticking with me throughout this stream. I hope you had some fun doing some design, have some chats. Are you going to live stream the prototype? Yes, I'm going to live stream the prototype. Yes, I am. I don't know how much of it, but I'm definitely going to be on here live streaming it. Same place, hopefully not the same time. Um, yeah, that's the plan. That is the plan. We made some great progress. It's so awkward. I like barely look at the camera. Let me look at the camera. We made some great progress. I think that we did a really good job with sticking with the hypothesis, or at least designing around like the hypothesis in the center of mass. I'm feeling that we're now at the point where like we really need to just like start getting the game going to be able to answer some of these questions. There's a couple of things that are scaring me in terms of like I'm not sure if we'll be able to answer those questions effectively to make a good game. We can make a game, right? It's easy to make a game, but it's not easy to make a good game. So Yeah. Thank y'all for stopping by. I'm gonna see you tomorrow, hopefully. And peace. Wait, I can press my fancy button to end